The U.S., for the first time in 4 years, has had to fire warning shots, an intense encounter with Iranian vessels. This between our U.S. vessels and the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps, that same IRGC that their foreign minister complains about as they really run the country.
We should be worried. We should be concerned for our troops that this kind of situation, Rick, in Iran with the warships took place just a few days ago. That has to have Americans concerned.
There needs to be an American reaction, a tough reaction, so that the Iranians know that the Biden administration is not weak.
The Iranians are clearly testing this administration. They did the same thing to us. We responded by making clear to the Iranians that it was unacceptable for them to put their ships, their weaponry in positions that could put our Marines, our soldiers, our sailors at risk. And we communicated that very clear to them. They responded by saying, we hear you, and then their actions on the ground demonstrated that as well. It's unfortunate that already this administration has shown sufficient weakness, right? Even while they're negotiating in Vienna, they're sending Coast Guard cutters to challenge and threaten our ships.
Anytime you're firing weaponry, things can escalate. They already are very quickly. This is the first time it's had to be done in 4 years. It happened once under the early years of President Trump, 2017.
Right.
Hadn't happened since then. And under Biden, we've seen the altercation last week, and now the need for the use of force this week.
Regulations that were issued last year now give the Navy commanders the authority to take lawful defensive measures against vessels in the Mideast that come within 100 meters or 100 yards, rather, of their warships.
This is really a force protection issue, as we call it in the military. And so the commander of the vessel has the inherent right of self-defense. And think about these warning shots. They come both in 17 and the ones that happened this week after the Iranian fast boats refused to respond to bridge-to-bridge radio traffic. They refused to change course even when they blew an alarm whistle saying, you are in our way, get out of the way. Only after those two things, there was no response, did they fire warning shots.
When the Iranians pick fights in the region with us or our allies, the Americans are going to have to respond. We have to make sure that they understand that. Interesting enough, though, there's this growing sense in Europe that America is withdrawing from that region, that we are caring less than we have in the past about violations in the Straits. And so the Europeans, I think, are getting a lot more concerned, and we've seen that with some reporting from the intelligence agencies out of Germany.
Clear violation of international law. You're in international waterways. Maritime law protects that. International rite of passage protects that. Yet the Iranians were provoking. So not only is there a violation of war powers, basically, but also international law.
There's no question about it, and the United States responded appropriately. The Iranian government has no respect for international law, has no respect for the parameters in which international law engages and permits. The United States has a policy of 100 yards or 100 meters, one or the other. Then you come too close to the ship, you're going to get warning shots fired, and that's exactly what we did. But The Iranians are a terrorist government. They don't care.
So the United States Navy had to fire warning shots on an Iranian Revolutionary Guard naval ship. So Colonel Smith, what comes after a warning shot?
After that, the only recourse left is to fire at the vessel, and you do this for the safety of your own crew. Because, we're talking about 62, 68 yards. Think about the length of a football field, just more than half of a football field. The U.S. vessel is a huge vessel. Yeah. You can't stop quickly. You can't turn quickly. You're there to protect your vessel, protect your crew. So after the warning shots, that's what would happen. Here's the thing. That would be very regrettable. It could get real dicey if you start shooting at the Iranian boats. But on the other hand, these are not little ski boats the Iranians are using. They're armed with automatic weapons, and they're armed with anti-ship missiles.
Now, what are we doing about it? Well, we can't dictate foreign policy of the United States. That would be inappropriate. What we can do is engage international bodies, including the United Nations. And when there's violations of international law, we can notify. And we can get the information out, and we can also write about it. We can also take legal positions at various international bodies. Because there's not many organizations in the world that have actually appeared multiple times before the International Criminal Court in The Hague. We have.